From the Gospel according to John, chapter 12, verses 1 to 11. 6 days before Passover, Jesus came to Bethany, where Lazarus was, whom Jesus had raised from the dead. They gave a dinner for him there, and Martha served, while Lazarus was one of those reclining at table with him. Mary took a liter of costly perfumed oil, made from genuine aromatic nard, and anointed the feet of Jesus and dried them with her hair. The house was filled with the fragrance of the oil. Then Judas the Iscariot, one of his disciples, and the one who would betray him, said, "Why was this oil not sold for 300 days' wages and given to the poor?" He said this not because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief and held the money bag and used to steal the contributions. So Jesus said, "Leave her alone. Let her keep this for the day of my burial. You always have the poor with you, but you do not always have me." The large crowd of the Jews found out that he was there and came, not only because of him, but also to see Lazarus, whom he had raised from the dead. And the chief priests plotted to kill Lazarus too, because many of the Jews were turning away and believing in Jesus because of him. Today I would like to pause on one of Jesus' words. 6 days before the Passover, we are right at the doorway of the Passion. Mary performs this contemplative gesture. Martha was serving, and Mary opens the door to contemplation. And Judas thinks about money and thinks about the poor, but not because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief. He was in charge of the common fund and used to help himself to the contributions. This story of the unfaithful administrator is always current. They are always around, even at a high level. Think about some charitable or humanitarian organizations that have many employees, with a structure full of people, and only 40% of donations arrive at the poor, because 60% goes to pay the salaries of many people. This is a way of taking money from the poor. But Jesus is the answer. And this is where I want to stop. You have the poor with you always. This is the truth. You have the poor with you always. There are poor people. There are many of them. There are the poor people we see, but they are just a small part. The majority of poor people are those we do not see, the hidden poor. The first question Jesus will ask is, how did you get on with the poor? Did you give them something to eat? When they were in prison, did you visit them? In hospital, did you see them? Have you helped the widow, the orphan? Because that is where I was. And on this, we will be judged.